I'm starting this week's video with mobility warm-ups, which I know may be considered boring, but I implore you not to skip past as it can come in handy for you one day. These have been key for my progress because they've eliminated all knee pain and helped with my hip shift on squats. Doing these band exercises have helped me increase my mobility by eliminating the issue causing my knee pain, which was limited ankle mobility. What I'm demonstrating here is the testing by placing the toe 5 inches from a vertical surface while keeping the heel in place and moving the knee forward as much as possible. Prior to doing these band exercises, the left knee would touch, whereas the right knee would be about 2 to 3 inches from the dresser. After the exercises, you can see I clearly touched the vertical surface with my knee while keeping my heel on the ground. That did the trick, and I was able to continue squatting without issue. So starting the week with squats, I hit new PRs both days, so I'm pretty psyched. The problem I had here on day one was that I did those mobility exercises just prior to working out, and my glutes were already on fire from the single leg squats, so I was fatigued going in. My footage shows me struggling on each and every set. Now, even though I struggled, I can say with pride that I did not fail on any of those sets, so I was happy about that. Now we move on to bench, and here too I hit new PRs, and I attribute that to the program, including 3 days of bench work. This increased volume is something I always wanted to aim for, knowing it would have two benefits, but it was difficult when working out in a commercial gym due to my schedule. Now that I'm working out at home, that type of schedule is a non-issue, and I'm clearly reaping the benefits of the increased bench volume. I have good control over the weight while still being able to focus on bar path, and it gets easier week to week. Even here with incline bench, I'm increasing weight slightly week to week and suffering with less shoulder pain. One thing I'm focusing on here is to bring the bar to my chin and not down to my clavicle to help with avoiding shoulder pain. So the next exercise was machine rows, and the weight successfully increased by 5 pounds while maintaining good form and control of weight. This is one exercise I really like to focus on my mind-muscle connection to really fire up those lats. Next were leg raises, and although there is no improvement here, I believe my core is getting stronger due to the compound movements in the program, which involves a lot of core bracing. Once the program is over, I intend to hit core more often, and specifically with isolation exercises. So next up are lateral raises, and these are still comfortable at the steady weight of 15 pounds. I haven't really increased this because of my shoulder issues, but I'm getting stronger, and the increased volume at this 15 pounds hasn't proven to be any kind of issue for me, so I'm happy there. Now day 2 begins with pause deadlifts, and deadlifts have continued going very well for me. I've focused less on the details and focused more on some specific cues. I'm focusing on position, like maintaining armpits over the bar, maintaining a neutral spine, and leaning back on my heels prior to lift, and this has been feeling very good for me. I'm not saying these are easy for me, as I'm definitely feeling the intensity with the increased weight. However, it's no longer causing me pain or grief, and later in the week I hit a PR with my deadlifts, as it has been quite a while since deadlifting that weight. Now bench press continues to improve throughout, and I feel very strong here. Working sets are at high 2 for me, not just the warm-ups. So all in all, this has been going very smoothly and easily, and the increased bench volume is definitely attributing to all of those gains. Next up is hip thrusters. These have been great as well, and I've increased the weight to new levels. Here it's 195. When I've attempted that in the past, that caused me a lot of fatigue in my lower back and glutes. I actually had to quit my sets prior to finishing them, but here I am back at 195, and these are going very well for me. All in all, I think this, the deadlifts, and a variety of other exercises is attributing to strengthening my posterior chain. Now tricep pushdowns are still going smoothly at the 65 pounds overall, so all good there, and I might even incorporate another few sets of different tricep variations. Dumbbell curls have been steady for the last couple of weeks at the 50 pounds, but feeling great at the higher volume, so I suspect I'll increase this weight very soon. As long as form doesn't suffer, biceps are hit a couple of times a week in this programming through the easy bar curl and dumbbell curls. Of course, I finished the day with typical face pulls, and getting this steady volume of face pulls has been beneficial for my traps and rear delts. So this is something I want to continue doing. Now day 3 starts with warm-ups, more mobility exercises, which I'm trying to do at least 3 times a week. These are hip airplanes which help with the hip shift you may recall seeing on some of my previous squats. It has yet to eliminate it altogether, but it has improved noticeably. These are just to help open the hips, and they definitely work and should be done more on the side that suffers from the lack of mobility using the Faber test. I'll have some links in the description and a card up on the right so you can explore that a little bit more. Now day 3 begins with squats, and as I mentioned previously, I hit a new PR here again with 3x3 at 255 pounds. You may notice better movement, including a less noticeable hip shift, and that is pleasing for me. The fact that I keep getting stronger here is definitely keeping me motivated. Additionally, my breathing has also improved, and I'm finding a rhythm for taking breaths before bracing on each and every rep. Now on to lat pull downs, and the weight is the same because the volume has increased, but that has gone well throughout, focusing on form and mind muscle connection to the lats here. Now on to dumbbell shoulder presses. These are still good at the current weight and increased reps. I'm obviously a little slower with the right shoulder due to the previous injury, but there is no pain, so I'm continuing to make strides, and I feel like maybe I can even increase the volume here to strengthen that right shoulder up. So here I move on to skull crushers, and the weight has been consistent, but I'm feeling much better with the movements, and I do have my strap safeties in an ideal position now where they don't interfere with the movement, so that has been great. Moving on to easy bar curls, that weight has remained consistent at 50 pounds, but again at a higher rep for the increased volume of this particular training block. Of course, I end the day with face pulls, and again just trying to keep that volume consistent. And moving on to the last day of the week, I started with deadlifts and hit a new PR to start with the warm-ups at 225 pounds and moving on to the working set of 195 pounds. Again, I'm only focusing on a few key cues to keep my form in check and prevent any injury with the increased weight. This is one area where I struggled, and I'm very happy with the progress. I had almost given up on the idea that I'd be able to make progress and improve in my deadlifts with both intensity, form, and weight. And I'm glad that I pushed that negative idea out of my head, stayed focused and positive, and have made the progress and gains that I have. Now onto bench press, I continue to increase the weight and still hitting my marks without even coming close to failure. The program definitely seems to work with that increasing strength and obviously muscle mass through the proven programming. This day, like the others this week, saw an increase in volume, and it's going pretty well. Not only am I making strength gains, but I'm no longer suffering from shoulder pain on the flat bench. Onto Bulgarian split squats, which I feel I'm improving in balance. I still kind of hate these because they do burn pretty intensely, but I'll keep going. And on to leg extensions, and these are starting to feel less and less awkward using the lat low row pulley system. I did have a subscriber who suggested I eliminate these due to the knee pain, but I'm happy to say they weren't a contributing factor. It was just the ankle mobility, so getting past that with those mobility exercises has eliminated any need for eliminating an exercise like the leg extensions. To finish off, I had a brain fart and ended with lateral raises instead of the prescribed shrugs, but I'll be sure to correct that next week. Thanks again for joining me on this training journey, and stay tuned for next week's vlog. Take care.